Hello and welcome to another video here at Movie Mash. And today we're going to talk about the new Purge 1 to 4, an overview until the new one's coming out in, well, it's over with you guys already, but it's out here on Friday. So
Yeah.
before I carry on, I have a special guest and personal friend, Davey from the 80s over at Cinema Chop Shop. Over to
Chop
you.
Shop's in the house. What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s. You already know what to do. Cinema Chop Shop, one of the best damn YouTube channels on YouTube. If you haven't figured it out by now, go ahead and head over there, hit that like and that share and that subscribe. Check out my videos. I just got a Black Widow review. I already reviewed The Purge, even though my friend Del Boy here hasn't seen it. But, we're going to talk about it. This should be fun.
We're going to talk about it. So can you give me the synopsis of the first one anyway?
Oh, the first one. The first one, isn't that the... Okay, so look, I'm a bit rusty, all right, because I haven't seen these movies in a long time. But if I'm not mistaken, the first one is about that homeless dude that runs into the house of the family that's... the family that built the dad is the freaking owner of the people that built the little security systems. And they lock down every purge or whatever, and some black homeless dude runs into their house. And then the purgers are like, you have something that we want, right? And they're like,
you're right, you're a little rusty.
yeah. They're like, either you're going to let him out or we're going to come in and get him. And then that's basically what the movie is about. Them trying to get the homeless dude out, but then also trying to defend themselves from the purgers, right?
Right. Well, I'll give you my synopsis now. You see why this channel is more professional, as I was saying. All right. So basically about in the near future, I think it feels like maybe between 10 and 15 years, the US have come up with an idea of having a night of purge where there is literally no law. You can murder, rape, kill, and get whatever frustrations or whatever craziness out of your system. And they find that it works because the rest of the year, there's no crime and the economy has gone up. So you either participate or you don't. And this film is about a family who have money, and it had the best security system in the whole town.
Security system.
Yeah. Well, they let some dude in who's homeless, but these people are out to purge and they attack the house, and we find out how good the security is, and it's probably not as good as they thought, and it's the cat and mouse thing for the rest of the film. Now, what would you say is your positives, Davey?
So the positives for the movie, honestly, to me, hold on, let me turn this volume down. I keep getting feedback. The positives of the movie, I love the idea. The idea of the first Purge was amazing. It touched on the class struggles. If you notice that one of the key features that they talked a little bit about the film was that they kind of targeted the weak and the vulnerable, and the weak and the vulnerable are usually the people of the lower class, because you're not able to buy security systems. You're not able to purchase weapons to protect your home. You're not able, some of these people that they were targeting didn't even have homes to live in. And I think in one of the other Purge movies, you see that purgers go down into the sewer system and attack a bunch of homeless people too, because they're trying to hide out from the purgers because they know that they're easy pickings. I love the idea of this movie because it also touches on the concept of like aggression and ways to relieve that aggression, and these crazy psychological, philosophical ideas that people come up with in order to solve problems. And this movie feels like those problems are actually being solved, but at a freaking ridiculous price, which means many people are going to die, many people are going to suffer, and there's going to be tons of property damage. But I guess they're saying that that's, when you really think about it in retrospect, like I want to see some money, like the idea of how much damage is done on Purge night versus how much money is used yearly on like crime and like
I know, yeah,
and like hospital bills and all that other stuff. I want to see a comparison because it's easy to say it. Of course, they're never going to give it to you, but it's easy to say it. But it's like like when I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, I don't think that sounds right. As much property damage and like banks getting broken into and all that other crazy stuff, that stuff goes on Purge night, and it's like, how can this night of chaos that's going on nationwide, by the way, how can this be cheaper than handling crime throughout the year? It's kind of crazy.
Because they literally burned towns and cities down completely to nothing.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
There was something else I was going to say is, I noticed they're also encouraging the lower class to go out and purge rather than the upper class. They're encouraging them to go out and do it. But for me, the positives of these movies, I thought the acting was solid. We've got Ethan Hawke and Lana Headey. She's probably known mostly for Game of Thrones and stuff like that. But the acting was pretty good. The story was good. The premise is good. I felt like towards the end it was getting a bit redundant. A little bit. I felt it was a little bit too long. But on whole, I thought the film was pretty decent. And like you're saying, we do go into other territories like you're talking about in the next next 2, 3, and 4. But
well, I think it's expanded on in the other films. But it's
more like a claustrophobic type thing, isn't it? It's
this movie, the ideas are introduced, but they're expanded on in the other films. And then once it gets to the further films, that's when it starts to get ridiculous. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, definitely the cast is amazing. The idea is amazing. I didn't feel like you did. I really felt like this movie was an easy ride from beginning to end. I didn't feel like it got rocky towards the end. I felt like this was a really solid ride from beginning to end.
Okay. No, well, I would recommend it. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, you shouldn't be watching this because we're going to give out maybe small spoilers here and there, sort of thing, without unintentionally. But it's an overall review. But I mean, for me, I would definitely recommend the first one, and you obviously would too.
Oh yeah, definitely. The first one is a classic, and that's the reason why it spawned a sequel and more sequels because the concept, the idea, it's so much you can do with this. It even has a damn TV show.
I'm going to give you a bit of trivia.
Why are you giving me trivia when I'm rusty? Go ahead.
Because, all right, get this. Do you know how much it cost to make the first Purge? How much it cost in full?
Under $10,000.
3 million. Yeah.
I was going to say under 5. I was being generous. Wait, who produced this? Blumhouse?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's why. Blumhouse is amazing. How much is
Ethan Hawke then? I thought he would be more than 3 million. You know, Ethan Hawke, the actor, the main star. Oh, yeah. I thought alone his pay packet would probably be more than 3 million, but obviously
he took most of the. I mean, because if you think about it, this is a small set. A lot of the thing that you see is from another camera's point of view. All of it is mostly in house, one location. You know, so it's not really a big location film. It's kind of like Saw. Saw was a low budget, huge like box office hit, and so was this movie. But yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, I never even thought about how it was literally a one setting. It was set in one. It was in one spot the whole movie, which is not easy to do, by the way, because a lot of people will watch a movie and be like, "Yo, we've been in the same spot for a long time."
Yeah.
And they get tired. Yeah, they get tired of it, and they're like, "Okay, how long are we gonna stay in this damn house?" You know, people get tired of that. But this movie did a really good job at keeping you entertained and spicing it up just a little bit here and there, throwing a little bit of paprika and garlic powder on it in order to keep it nice and flavorful. But yeah, so I love the first Purge movie. The first Purge movie, not the first Purge.
Oh God, we'll get to that. It made 90 million, and the critics didn't like it, and it got 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Who cares about what Rotten Tomatoes thinks?
I actually never really look. I just was looking up trivia before we went and did this.
Rotten Tomatoes has given it's just the worst movies.
Don't get near it. It's terrible. It's all opinion. Go and check my videos out. You want to know what's good or not. And Davies.
All right. Rotten Tomatoes gives some of the worst freaking reviews ever, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been at movie screenings with people that work with Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, and I'm sitting there, and these people are like fucking dorky, freaking what's the word I'm looking for? Hipster looking people watching the movie, and you're just like, what movie are you watching? Like, and I mean, I don't know if this is the person that went and wrote the article for Rotten Tomatoes for that particular movie, but sometimes you watch some of these movies. Like, there was a Rotten Tomatoes reviewer at the Us screening, and Us was praised by Rotten Tomatoes, if I'm not mistaken. So that tells me everything that I need to know.
I never go.
What?
Never go to Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. I don't go to Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't. Tomatoes now. I'm talking to you too long. Tomatoes.
I don't go to Rotten Tomatoes. I used to go to IGN, but IGN is. I've noticed that me and IGN, depending on who writes the article, depends on if I agree or not.
Yeah.
IMBD is pretty interesting, but I mean, I don't normally go to other critic websites in order to figure out what I think. I just figure out what I think about the movie, and then maybe afterwards I glance at it to see what they think.
I never go to Rotten, never now, because there's some of the greatest movies I see, and I look and I'm like, what? And it's like no, but the reason why I was just saying it is because I looked some trivia up before it, and was just that came up. Nobody liked it on Rotten Tomatoes. I thought it did okay. I thought people liked it in general, but I would just want to move along to Purge 2. I think it's called Purge Anarchy. Anarchy. Sorry, we call it Anarchy here.
Anarchy. That reminds me of that movie Triple X with Vin Diesel, Anarchy 99. You remember that shit? Triple X with Vin Diesel?
See it 20 odd years ago. I was all right. They were trying to do a new James Bond or something with him, like, or something.
That was so garbage.
The second one is starring, all I know is the main character is Frank Grillo, and I actually like him as an action star because I always thought he would have made a good Punisher, not taken away from...
I was just about to say that. You stole the words out of my mouth. I swear. I was like, yo, he reminded me of Punisher the whole movie.
He looked it. Not taken away from John Bettino because he was great, but I just thought he would have, and he was on Captain America. Anyway, regardless of something, he played something else. Comment below and let us know what you was on Captain America, Winter Soldier, and maybe a little bit on Civil War. Anyway, so he basically, I don't know if it's the same night. We're talking about part 2 now, in case people don't know. And we don't know if it's the same night or just another Purge night in general, but the story, it's more of a, the story goes is where this character, I don't know his name, but the actor's Frank Grillo, he's going out to take revenge on someone who's accidentally killed his son that he can't get over. And tonight's the night he can do it. He's not really a bad killer or a horrible person. He's just, the guy got away, it's drinking and driving. The guy got away and he wants revenge.
So cliche. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's such a cliche thing.
It is, but to get him something.
A drunk driver. I've seen that too many times.
Yeah, I know. But he goes out to get, in the meantime, there's a couple other families who have been in a serious situation where they've, like a husband and wife, they were caught. Their car broke down just before the Purge commenced, so they're stuck outside. And there's they think maybe the car was tampered with, so now they're stuck and on the run and trying to get home. Then you've got a mum and a daughter who was kicked out of the house, and people trying to. So they're on the street, and they've come across Frank Grillo. I keep calling because don't know his character's name. Who we kind of get the impression he has some combat military kind of background because he knows how to fight. He knows all about guns. He can really kick ass. He knows all about stealth, and he takes it upon himself because the good in him to save them and bring him from A to B. And what they get, we get to see what happens outside on the Purge on this one. We get to see outside.
Yeah, because we were only the way that we got outside was the security cameras in the first one.
Yeah.
But or that little montage or that montage at the beginning.
Yeah. That was actually, I like the way they did that actually. But you see the guy in the truck with the big like sentry gun or whatever you call it, you know, and he was going to get to see, and it was a lot of fun. Then we got to see more of the upper class. Now, to me, this is the beginning of something they dragged out. Oh, I wouldn't say dragged out, but you got these upper class. They were more like Satan worshippers. The way they were acting, like, you know, they were acting like
a cult.
Yeah, but like a Satan type cult, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, kill, and it was like, yeah, all right, you know, fair enough. But they probably thought, let's use this on the second and definitely the fourth. But for me, it's not a big, massive story. It's just bringing the family from A to B, and he kind of coming to terms with not doing what he was going to do at the end. And I don't want to get too many spoilers out. I don't want to hit the end just on top. But for me, I will say I preferred the second to the first, me personally.
You like the second one more than the first?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I wouldn't say it was a horror, though. The kills were good on it and all that.
Interesting.
But I wouldn't say it was such a horror. Like, it was more of a kind of an action type, kind of thriller type thing.
I will give you this, though. There was more character development for the main character in Purge Anarchy versus like character development in the first Purge movie. But I mean, you know, you have to understand that working with that small budget, you can only do so much. You have to figure out a creative story to do it with limited space, limited filming locations. And I feel like they did a great job for the first Purge. The first Purge movie. Not the first Purge, the first Purge movie. I have to emphasize it. But I like the Purge more than I like Purge Anarchy. it's literally within like those are my two.
I mean, for me again, I was surprised about how much I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought, oh, here we go, but it was my. I see Frank. I really liked him. I think he held that film together on his back, and I thought he was good. But there's not much more to say about it apart from the kills were decent. And
is that the movie where we're introduced with the guy that has God on his mask?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it is because he's the one who sabotaged that couple's car and he was following them.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
He sabotaged their car. Yeah. I like the idea of you're trying to all right. You don't want to be in the purge, so you're trying to get home before the time commences. But what happens if you got caught out? Your car breaks down. You're stuck. You're fucked. And that's
but also on top of that, it shows you the different kind of things. People basically made a hustle out of the purge. They were collecting people to sell to the rich people in order to do their purging because they were too scared to actually go out and purge because they didn't want to die, obviously. So they're like, okay, we're going to bring it to a safe location and we'll purge from here.
That's a good idea, to introduce because, let's pay. People want to make money, and it's a good way to make money. You're like, hold on here, I can make, I can cash in on this, and for me, I like seeing the craziness that actually does go on outside. And going back to what you were saying about the money situation, we got to see the damage and the mayhem and the shit that happened. So, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't mind knowing how much that cost.
Yeah, but then also this was interesting because this movie also introduced us to another concept that we will see later on in the Purge, which is the cool costume designs. This movie introduced all the really cool costume designs in the Purge series. You had the guy with the God mask. You had, I think that was the one with the guy with the little neon, the little light up eyes. That's the one mask that we got in that one. There was a couple of really cool costume designs that we saw in this movie. And then honestly, later on in the Purge movies, they kind of lose their flair, lose their sauce. I know that like they just, I don't know. There's nothing. This movie has the best costume designs out of the whole series, in my opinion. You see, like they try later on to keep mimicking it, but like none of the other Purge movies has iconic makeup and mask designs like this one. I think this one has the most during Halloween. The Purge 2, their costume design probably has the most like replicated mask made during Halloween versus any of the other ones during the series. No,
well, I again, I suppose you're warming to it a little bit more now. You still think the first one's better?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, the second one's going to be able to do more because, like I said, it has a budget. But I just really respect what they did with the first movie. You had limited amount of money, limited filming locations. You had a story, and you made it work. And honestly, I loved it. I loved the first one. The second one, I loved it equally as much.
I don't know if I said this. The first made 90 million. The second one here was cost 9 million to make, and it made like 120 million. So it did better.
I will say this: Blumhouse does this shit. Blumhouse, it's a Blumhouse production, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Blumhouse.
Comment below if we're wrong. I'm sure they will.
Blumhouse does this shit, bro. Blumhouse will take a fucking small budget, under $10,000 movie. They'll make it, and then they'll turn around and make freaking 50 million, 100 million, 90 million off of these movies. So kudos to them. Yeah, it's Blumhouse.
It was like it took over from Saw in some ways. This became like the next Saw type where they threw out a film every year. I think they were every year they came out, didn't they? It wasn't like a break in between. Maybe a break between the first Purge, but they seem to come out every year now. There was no break. But again,
they lost its momentum because number 3 wasn't well received, and then it followed up with the first Purge, which really wasn't well received. But then they also took a break to make the TV series.
Well, on to, we'll say, the second, which is called Purge.
And election year? The third one?
Yeah. Now, I'm
rusty, but I'm remembering the titles. Hey.
See? I knew I brought you a reason. But hold on. We got a visitor. Oh, he's not coming out. But I was going to say, it's all right. I actually liked the third one. It felt quite similar to the second, but not as good.
The third one?
I do like the third one.
That's the one with the girls with the cars with all the lights on it, right? The hell? Oh, dude, I swear it looked like you just disappeared randomly. Like if it caught that on camera, people were gonna trip out. It looked like you disappeared and it reappeared with a cat. Hey, who is that? Skeletor?
Skeletor.
Skeletor. Hey,
Hello.
Skeletor. Thumbnail.
Thumbnail. Anyway, I was gonna say, get out.
He said, what was gonna say, get out.
What I was gonna say was, all right, the third one.
Those girls annoyed me, by the way. Those girls with the lights annoyed the shit out of me. Remember the girls? They had all the lights on.
Oh,
and then they had light all over it. And I think they went into that guy's. He had a corner store or something, like a convenience store. You know, they went inside there.
I know the actor. What's his name? Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah, that was Bubba. Oh yeah,
it was Bubba. Shrimp. He loves shrimps and stuff. You know,
shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, he was great. But what the film's about is we have Frank Grillo playing the same character. Obviously, it felt like it's a few years after. We have he's basically seems to be head of security of was it a election? The presidential candidate, who is a female running for president, as I just said, and she is against the Purge. And it looks like if she gets in, the Purge will be over. And it looks like she is going to get in. She's doing really well. So all the other politicians, including the president, want her dead. And Purge night is the perfect night. So they send all kinds of people in to get her. And Frank Grillo, like the first or the second one he was in, going to try and get her and save her. But this is where we find out more about the class and the kind of cult type thing you're talking about, because we saw a little bit of it on the second, and like all the to be honest with you, all these presidential candidates, not candidates, but politicians, they're all wearing robes in some kind of church doing rituals. And I'm like, they even seem a bit delusional. Like, I'm like, you know, please if you could bring them back down to earth a little bit. They just want her gone because of money reasons, but they're all doing it because of, oh, let's get rid of the poor people. I'm like, no, because poor people kind of make a lot of money for like politicians and stuff.
Well, you know, I think what they're really trying to say, I think the idea was really what they're trying to say is like, I guess like population control. Also, like this is the theme that I was talking about that gets expanded on. The theme is that there's this notion that the upper class doesn't like the lower class and feels like the lower class is leeching off of, I guess, America. And in order to make America, you know, be the prominent nation that it's supposed to be, we have to purge these leeches from the country. And that's where the idea that the lower class is being targeted by the the founding fathers, right? The new founding fathers. They're being targeted by them in order to, like, you know, create this idea and this illusion. But I mean, I get it that there's possible, like, there's a narrative that's being spewed and people are trying to buy into it. But this is where the movie starts to kind of like walk away from its roots. I get it that it kind of, some of the stuff can be based in class, but once you start transitioning and trying to make it all about class is when you're starting to lose people, because there could just be some motherfuckers out there just crazy, just trying to kill some people just because they want to kill them. There could be somebody out there with a vendetta, want to kill somebody that did something wrong to them. There could be somebody that's been hating their boss since the day that they met them and wanted to kill them. You know, to try to like bubble it and saran wrap it all together as one thing, it's all about class. Nah, I can't really rock with that, because you know, you can't just make it all.
You know, the robes, and see, I understand you want to get rid of class and you want to do this and they want to, all right, but what they were doing is that they were doing it like a ritual, like a cult. And I would prefer they were doing it for financial reasons. It made sense financially to get rid of these leeches or whatever. But it was also
to make a spectacle about it, right?
And they were quite delusional with all their little rituals and all that. And I'm like, ugh. But you know what? I still enjoyed the movie. And there's something I feel that at the start of the movie, I think it's this one. It showed loads of foreigners. When they come to America to purge,
from
South Africa, England, Germany, whatever, Russia.
Yeah.
So, because obviously, then it turns out for me, it shows obviously the US is the only place that does this purge, and these shows there, everyone's coming over with bloody all kinds of ideas how to chop people up, and they didn't touch on that. A little bit at one point, you see a load of Russians come in, but I was like, that would have been a good idea, you know, the mass people coming over just for that night, like, you know, that would have been a good idea, but they left that. Also, the girls you're talking about. So we have Bubba Gump.
Yeah.
He's trying to look after, and they put the insurance up in his shop, so he couldn't. So he had to defend his shop that night, and you had these two girls and all these. They were dumb as shit. I mean, they were going to die no matter. Even if it wasn't then, it was going to be at some point. Yeah, I mean, they got hit by a car. Was it a truck?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're standing on the street. It's quiet. Bang. I mean, like, you know, but I suppose you have to give us someone to have really hate.
This is the one with the lady with the ambulance, right? That helps people on Purge night.
That's it. Yeah. That was another. I thought she's on her own. She might.
And then she was low key. What if they called her like the Lady of Death or some shit? She was like low key like a person.
Yeah, but
right. These all started to come back to me. That's stupid, right?
I know.
Like, the lady that's running. Okay, I get it. The lady that's been causing mayhem and destruction her whole fucking life has turned over a new leaf, and she wants to help people.
They didn't really go into it. They just said it briefly. They didn't even go into it. They just kind of breezed over it, like, you know. And then she hopped
out. I remember she hopped out the back of the car with like a fucking 12 gauge or some shit, like a shotgun or something.
Yeah.
She hops out the car, and then she like announces herself as Lady Death or some bullshit. Starts killing people, and then just like, oh, that was your badass superhero introduction.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have missed something because that was like whatever, you know. Like I thought that was lame. That was weak.
It's just it was. They didn't really touch on it anyway about what she was previous, really. And she's going out in this van in this town country destroyed by crazy people in a van that has a little bit of mesh wire on the front. And was there another girl with her?
I think so.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, but look. It's still, I still enjoyed it. I thought it was similar to the second one, not as good. I like the idea of them trying to take down the other presidential candidate, the female who's going to, you know, I like the idea because if she does get in, it will change what they're doing, you know, and I like the idea. I just didn't like the cult way of doing it because it felt like they were a little bit delusional. And how are you running the country if you're that stupid?
Yeah, they were trying to be like all theatrical about killing her, right?
Yeah,
like to make it like a spectacle.
Yeah, like a sacrifice and stuff like that. It was just stupid. But again, I'm scared to go on to the next one. But since we're doing 1 to 4,
I wish I still had the hat.
Oh, there's something else. I've got to tell you this. Right, I'll get into it in a sec. So the fourth one is a couple of years later. It's called Purge. The first Purge. This one's called The First Purge.
And this one is based off of how the Purge began.
Yeah. And it's in Staten Island. Yeah, which is a small... Yeah, New York is... my geography in America is a bit... But Staten Island. And they're trying to get all these... We'll say black people. Isn't it mostly black people?
Minorities.
They're trying to... what was it? Trying to get them to engage in this purge and give them loads of money, you know. Then you have all these rich white people with, is it Teresa? You know, Teresa, I've forgotten her name. She's pretty. Teresa Morone or whatever. You know, she's from My Cousin Vinny and stuff like that. Do you know?
I'll tell you right now. You said Teresa.
Teresa? What was it? Teresa.
Hold on. Her name is. I don't see no Teresa. I don't see any Teresa. Nah, I don't see it. Was she one of the main people?
She was one of the main people who organized it.
I see.
Look at Teresa.
I don't see Teresa. That's weird. Wait, Jason Blum was in this movie? I didn't know that.
Well, we got all right. So we have these rich, snooty, white people, you could say, that are stereotyping, and they don't like. They want to kind of get rid of these minorities, and they're trying to give them more money to purge and carry on like this. And they're being it's they've lost whatever they were doing in the first three completely. So you have the main character, one of the main characters, a drug dealing murderer. Yeah. And I'm like,
AKA 50 Cent.
Yeah, who literally speaks. I mean, he looks and speaks like him. Now, I'm not saying the acting was okay in some of the part. He was actually all right. But the thing is that you had these white stereotypes who were stereotyping minorities, and the minorities were actually the stereotypes that the white stereotypes. Are you following me? It's a bit complicated. It's one stereotype against another stereotype. And all right, this is what I wanted to say to you was, there was a part where the guy trying to grab some girl's crutch. Yeah. And she got away from him. And you know, she says, "You ain't grabbing my pussy."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you got a red hat, didn't you?
Yep.
You got when Davey went to the cinema to see this, he was given a big Donald Trump hat.
Okay, so look. So yeah. I get to go to. I've gone to a lot of screeners for movies, and screeners are basically. It could be a year, it could be a month, it could be a few months, it could be a week before the movie is released. I got to see a screener of the first Purge, I think a week before it came out. So we got to see it before everybody else. And in order to hype it up, this is the time where they use you kind of like as promotional because they lift what's called an embargo. The embargo is when they lift that up, it's free game to review. You won't get hit. They won't because you have to sign a contract when you go to some of these screeners in order not to disclose whatever you're seeing. But once you see a movie that's really close to its release date, they don't have you sign that. And because the embargo is lifted and you're free to comment on the movie as you please. So they give you this merch and they give you t-shirts sometimes and things like that in order to hype you up for the movie. So the thing that they decided to give us, they have First Purge t-shirts, and then they also had these red Trump hats. It was literally the Donald Trump hat, the little Make America Great hat, but on the front it said the First Purge. I had the hat. I had it in my car forever, and I ended up just throwing it away because I was like, I'm never going to wear this shit. I don't think anybody's ever going to want to buy it, so I'm just going to go ahead and toss this in the rubbish. Look at me. I'm talking English. The rubbish. Anyway.
Garbage. It's garbage.
Basura, homie. Anyway, so they give us this damn hat, and I watch this movie, and I'm shell-shocked at watching this stupid movie. I was like, I'm so glad that I saw this movie for free because I would have been pissed off if I had to pay to see it. Yeah, I was so upset because the idea of it, they took away the class idea and they tried to make it strictly about race. But see, here's the thing. If you're going to make the first Purge movie, which is the first Purge, how it's grounded, if you're going to make it about race, then that retcons the Purge and the Purge Anarchy, which touches on class. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you were going to make it the first Purge movie, then you should have grounded it in class. The secret mission is to make it about class, get rid of the lower class, have the upper class raise up, whatever. You know, you could have made it about class, but instead you ditched that idea and you made it about race, which is an idea that's not really visited upon in any of the other Purge movies until the new one comes out. And you guys will figure that out after you see it yourself. The Forever Purge is grounded in race as well, too. I'm just letting you know that now. But, yeah, this theme of the racial aspect or racial theme of the movie, this is when they introduced it to the Purge. And to me, this is where the Purge lost its identity.
Well, for me, it felt like it should have been straight to DVD, this film, anyway, for a start. Felt like it just felt like they went as far as they could, and they just went. I don't know what I don't know what they were thinking about the writing on this, when they're going to do this race kind of thing, but it wasn't even done subtly though. It was like full on stereotype one and full on stereotype the other. I mean, there was no in between on this. There was no there was no in between. It was one or the other, and they were all stupid. All the characters were dumb. Like 50 Cent. We have him, drug dealing killer, and I'm supposed to get behind him, yeah. And these. And
why does this man? Why did that man have a military-esque background? And he was a street cat.
Yeah, right. He used to be in the all right. He is the perfect. I mean, like they right. We need this guy to be good but really bad, right? So we need to 50 Cent's popular. Let's make him look like 50 Cent. Let's make him a drug dealer. And not any drug dealer now. He owns corners. He's doing really good.
He's the
He
man.
kills someone.
He's the
He
man.
kills a rival character, and then we got to get behind him because he becomes the hero. But it turns out he had some military background. I'm like, so you've come out of the military and now you're selling drugs and you have kids working for you. Okay, but we've got to get behind you now. Okay. Obviously, you can't get behind the white.
That was like the stupidest. Look, check this out. Check this out. This is where who the fuck wrote this movie? Hold on, let me see. Who wrote this movie? Just give me 1 second. I need to find out.
It's just. And also, would you find out what else he's written?
Yeah, we about to find out right now. Written by James DeMonaco. The Negotiator, Assault on Precinct 13. Huh?
He wrote that, James DeMonaco.
Yeah, he wrote Jack.
He wrote
The Negotiator.
He wrote Purge 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
And directed.
What the fuck? Wow. Yeah, he must have lost it. What this man? Look, let me see what this man looks like. Screenplay as Robin Williams, comedy Jack. Oh, I remember that movie. This is so weird because he actually has a pretty damn good catalog, dude.
No, I checked him out earlier on. I didn't know he did the last one, but I knew he'd done. Oh, I knew he wrote and directed the first 2 Purges. I'm not sure about the third, but I assume it is.
He wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote and directed.
Here's the stupid shit. If you're going to go that route, then you have to do it the correct way. When you're living in an impoverished neighborhood, your options are you go to school, you play sports, you go to the military, or you deal drugs. You don't fucking go to the military and then come home and deal drugs. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Because you're coming home with a military background. Whether I don't know if did they ever say if he was honorably or dishonorably discharged?
I can't remember. I started going over my head.
To the point, this man has a military background. When you have a military background, there's so many fucking perks and jobs that you can get. One of them being the fucking United States Post Office. And that's a really damn good job that pays a lot of money. So just saying, just throwing that out there. You can work at the fucking county building. There's so many jobs that require like this year-long commitment that basically waives it so that you can get a job immediately and be like an employee and not like on like what's the word I'm looking for? It's a word for this. Anyway, it'll come to me later when I'm not even thinking about it anymore. But the point is, this fool was in the military. When you come home from the military, there's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of places willing to hire veterans. There's tons. You know, there's even programs to help. So why would you come home from the military and then start dealing drugs? You went to supposedly saving your country to doing damage inside of it to your own people? Like, that's dumb. I didn't get it. It was a stupid contradiction. And I hated his character. His character was fucking annoying.
But he had kids working on street corners for him.
Bro, one of the Purgers was a crackhead. Was he not? Wasn't one of the Purgers?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Skeletor.
Yeah.
His name, we had Skeletor a minute ago. His name was Skeletor as well. That's right.
They had a fucking crackhead.
Yeah. That's right. He was the first kill. He'd made the first kill in the Purge, in any Purge. He was supposed to be the first killer. He killed some guy at a cash machine or something, you know. But, you know, I don't really have much more to say, but I do not recommend it. If I were you, if anyone who wants to watch the Purge and you ain't seen it, I recommend 1 to 3. I do want to touch upon this though. Now I know you haven't seen it. I decided to watch the first series of the Purge. Right, fuck it, let me try it. So I tried.
You watched the whole thing or just the first season?
The first season. It's decent. It's actually decent. It's all the whole. Is it between 8 and 10 episodes? The whole season is based on the one night. Yeah. And it's based on 3 characters, and they're all pretty decent. The race thing is minute now and again, very not even worth bringing up, to be honest. And the class thing is still there, but they took it quite seriously. Now, I would recommend watching it, and if you want, it's definitely worth recommending. And the main character is pretty decent. the only actor I knew from the whole thing was do you know the Baldwin brothers? You got Alec and
Alec
Steve.
Baldwin, yeah.
Well, one of them. No, it's not Alec anyway. You know, it's one of the other ones. But he was the main. He was one of the characters in it. But in general, they were all really good acting, and they took it seriously. Done a good job. I will say it might have been an episode too long, maybe, but it's only a nitpick. Now, there's something I need to say. I turned on. I have to say this. Yeah, I pressed play on season 2, and I only watched about 5 minutes of it. And it's not that all right. The first 2 minutes of the Purge season 2 is probably the most best written, best acted, best thing I have seen. Just one little scene at the beginning that I have to say is one of the best I've seen in years. Just that scene, the way it was done, the setting, the acting. What happened? I can't say it, but all I know is you'd have to have seen the movies to make a difference. But that first scene, I actually rewound it 3 times. Yeah,
What?
it actually. Yes, I was like, I just did not see that coming. It's the first scene as you press play on season 2. If anyone goes to press play and watch it, it won't affect anything else you watch in the first or any. It's not a spoiler or anything. I just don't want to say because I was taking, whoa, it has nothing to do with the rest of the season. It's just the first minute, maybe 2 minutes at most. It was chilling. And I really liked the way it was done and the setting, the acting, the music, great. Now, I just wanted to say that now. I'm intending to watch the rest of it, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. In my opinion, one of the best scenes I've seen in a long time. Best 2 minutes of the scene anyway. Yeah, and I really recommend you just check that minute out. But for me,
I'm thinking about because I'm converting some of my physical media to digital. So I'm probably going to convert my Purge movies, and then I think I'm gonna just buy this this set that includes the seasons, the first 2 seasons of the Purge. So I might get that. I don't know. I'm still debating.
I don't know if season 2 is good. I don't look at reviews before it either because I'm
a completionist. Like I like.
Yeah, I know.
I like completing shit. Like like. I like Wishmaster 1 and 2, even though I know 3 and 4 is garbage, but I still have it. I like Child's Play, certain Child's Play movies, but don't like the other ones. I have the Nightmare on Elm Street collection.
Because of Red Eyes.
Yeah, it's because of Red Eyes. And
Justin,
your buddy, you know that.
Justin.
Shout out to Justin. Get your damn review out.
I know what you're saying. When I start, I know some people and they can just start watching like Hellraiser Part 2 and this. I have to watch.
2 is tight, bro.
No, I know, but I can't. I actually have to watch the first. Then the second.
Like that. Okay, I got
some people just go, yeah, I watched last night Rocky 4. I'm like, oh, you have to watch the first. You can't just,
If you've never seen the movies before, then yeah, you should watch the first one. But like, because people give me shit because I'm like, Hellraiser 1 through 4. Oh, look who's back.
No.
I'm like Hellraiser 1 through 4 is solid. I was like, but once you get past that, it's whatever. But everybody has their own opinions. People are like, oh, it fell apart after part 2. Some people are like, oh, everything after part 1 was bad. So it depends on who you're talking.
3 became too well. I still like 3, but 3 became
entertaining. 3 is entertaining because
it became American and it became more commercial. First to a somewhat indie.
That was Pinhead trying to be Freddy Krueger.
What happened with 4? Oh god, we're going into hell. Is that the one?
4 is Bloodline. That's the one that goes into space and then goes back into the past.
Yeah.
That one's dope. I like that one.
I liked it too, especially the twin brothers.
Yeah.
That was
smashed together.
But I think we're going off. We should do another review on that. How about
all right. That? Well, shit, I'm not gonna fucking watch all the Hellraiser movies anytime soon, but we can do
it. Anyway, as I say, like in general, I thought 1 to 4, I will give a thumbs up between 1, some thumbs up 2, side from for 3, down for 4, and we'll say I haven't, and I will give I'll give a thumbs up for the first TV season, the season of the TV show. I don't know about the rest. Now, I haven't seen. My next review will be Purge, Forever Purge, which is coming out now. For people who want to see the review. Davey's already got a review out on his channel.
I have it out.
So if you want to go and see, go over to him and check out his videos, and he's got some more there. Some of them all right, you know. But as I say, like
if I had to grade it in the way I grade shit, you know, spared body, meh, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So the first Purge is getting spared, second Purge is getting spared, third, first, and forever, body. Bullshit. Fuck them damn movies.
Yeah, no, I do. They just lost key, but
watch, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. When you watch the Forever Purge, there's a racial element. I already told you this. I want you to, after you're done, I want you to sit down and think. Remove the racial element from the movie, and then ask yourself, would it have really changed the story if I would have removed this element? The answer will surprise you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to watch it either tonight or tomorrow. I should have it out in the next couple of days. So please check my next review out, The Purge. I'll be doing it solo because, you know, he's done it already. You know, we might do a spoiler talk, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll do that on your channel.
All right, whatever.
But as I say, like, but for now, I have nothing more to say. Have you got any little extras?
No, not really. Nothing that I can think of. It's like I said, The Purge is a series that I enjoyed. It was quite enjoyable. There's certain elements and themes that they started to like progressively insert into the movies that I didn't really appreciate, or I felt like didn't fit the tone of the movie, or I felt like they might have like it could have worked if it was worked into it properly. But when you try to like generalize things is when things get bad. So like the first Purge, dude, they basically made the shit about race. You had a man running around with a Klan's outfit on that we didn't even talk about. We didn't even talk about the KKK guy. We didn't talk about the people running around with the freaking rebel flags or any of that stuff. They specifically made that movie about race in order to fit the narrative at the time. And I mean, dude, you cannot ruin your franchise by just trying to be, I don't know, a political messenger. You know? If that's not fitting into your movie, don't waste your time. Make a separate movie about that. You can make a whole nother movie about it. Hell, you could have made the movie about a fraction of the purgers that think this way. You get what I'm saying? So it won't seem like, okay, this is the overall goal of the Purge is to eliminate all minorities. You could have just had it like, okay, there's a faction of the Purge group that is these racist Southerners or some shit from Alabama that came in their pickup trucks and with a big ass 6-pack of Bud Light and shit, trying to purge people, minorities in well-populated cities and shit. You could have did that, but instead you made it a plot by the government in order to do that, and then that's where you kind of moved the ball and you missed the point. That's just my opinion, though.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, they fucked it up. But again, like, I still recommend the first three.
First two for me, I only recommend 1 and 2. You can keep 3, 4, and
try and put the brain off a little bit for the rest. And I do recommend the TV show. But as normal, Davey, it's a pleasure as always. And thanks for coming on. And we should do something else soon. Check it out because we're gonna always do something new. Any ideas what we should do next together? Or any ideas? What should we do?
What's coming? I mean. Something that comes out that we might both be interested in, like that we have a lot to say about, but we'll figure it out. I mean, if not, then it could just be something themed around something that's coming out.
We'll figure something, I'm sure.
I mean, if you want, the closer we get to Candyman, me and you could do a overview of the series.
You know what? I have only seen Candyman 1 and 2. I haven't seen it.
3 is not that great, but I mean, you
know. No, but it's been about 20 years. I snuck into the cinema to see the first Candyman.
Candyman 1 is fucking iconic. I love that.
I was nearly regretting to go sneaking in to see the first one because I was, what the fuck have I snuck into? You know, I remember. Do you remember? There's this film called Falling Down with, what's his name? Michael Douglas.
Falling Down? No, I've never heard of it.
Well, anyway, I remember it was out of those two, and I was like, "Fuck that old dude." Now look at me, but I'm older than he was then. But I was like, "No, this Candyman looks like got a hook and all that. Let's sneak in." It was like a a 15 to us and R-rated to you. So I remember sneaking in. It was easier to do back then. And I was like, next minute, this dude just come out of nowhere. And I was like, I'm out. Oh, shit. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was real good. And obviously we have Tony Todd. Anyway, I'm going to go on and talk. We should save this for another video. Yeah, I'd love to do the Candyman. I'm going to watch them real soon, actually.
We can do the Candyman overview. Only one I really need to rewatch is the third one, because the third one is in LA, I believe. Because it goes from Chicago to Louisiana, and then the third one is in LA. So that's the one I need to watch.
All right. Well, we'll do that, and that should be out August. It's out August. Yeah. So anyway, look, Davey, from the 80s. This is Del Boy from the 70s, and I'm going to sign out. But it was nice talking to you again. All right.
It's always a pleasure.
Now, until next time, Movie Mashers. See you later.
That shit. It didn't stop. It says live.
It didn't stop. It's still recording. I'm going to leave that in.